Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zbigniew and I will chair the Ordinary General Meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. until the election of the chair of the Ordinary General Meeting of the KGHM. First of all, I would like to welcome the shareholders and their proxies representing shareholders of the company, members of the Supervisory Board, Mr. Józef Czyczerski, Mr. Przemysław Darowski, Mr. Artur Urlich, Mr. Bogusław Szarek, as well as the Management Board, Remigiusz Patkiewicz, President of the Management Board, Mr. Piotr Krzyżewski, Vice President of the Management Board for Finance, Mr. Zbigniew Bryja, Vice President of the Management Board for Development, Mr. Mirosław Laskowski, Vice President of the Management Board for Production, and Ms. Anna Sobieraj-Kozakiewicz, Vice President of the Management Board for International Assets. I would also like to welcome representatives of the media and the company employees. The minutes of this Ordinary General Meeting of KGHM will be taken by Mr. Radosław Stępniak, a notary sitting beside me. And now let me ask you to put forward candidates for the position of chair of this Ordinary General Meeting. Okay? Good morning, Andrzej Leganowicz. I'm a shareholder. I have one share, exercising my rights as well. So I submit my candidacy for the position of chair of the Ordinary General Meeting. If I am elected, I will assume the position. Thank you very much. Are there any other candidates? I don't see any. So one candidate has been put forward, Mr. Andrzej Leganowicz, to be chair of the Ordinary General Meeting. Before the election of the chair of the Ordinary General Meeting, I would like to ask a representative of the programmer company to tell the shareholders and the proxies of shareholders about the details of the terminals used in the voting procedure. Good morning. You have received 3 tags: green, yes, red, no, against, and yellow, abstention. So, if the voting starts, wait for the blue screen. Please attach the tag to the reader. If you vote, when you vote, you will see information that the vote has been cast. In the open vote, with the information what the vote was. In the secret ballot, no information. If you have more than 2 sets, you put one tag and then you put another tag. Let me suggest a test vote for you to check whether your tags work. So, if you see, please say yes or please vote. Put the tags in the device to the reader. Voting in progress. Have you checked? Have everybody checked whether the device works? So we finish the test vote. The vote has been finished. Thank you very much. Are there any questions to you? Are there any questions? No? Thank you. So I hereby start a secret ballot on the election of the chair of the Ordinary General Meeting of KGHM. The candidate is Mr. Andrzej Leganowicz. I can see that some people are still voting, so I'm not closing the vote yet. Thank you very much. Have everybody cast their vote yet? I don't see anyone raising their hand. So I hereby close the vote and please tell us the results. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, minutes of the secret ballot number 1 for the chair of the ordinary general meeting. 141,171,162 votes were cast. All votes were valid. For 140,992,158, which constitute 99.8732% of the votes cast. Against 179,003 votes, which is 0.12% of all votes cast, valid votes cast, and there was 1 abstention, so 0. So the number of shares, 141,171,162 shares, and votes, and the percentage in the share capital, 70%, 70.58. So that's the percentage of such. So in the secret ballot, Mr. Andrzej Leganowicz has been elected chair of this ordinary general meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. And hereby I give the floor to him, and he will chair this meeting from then on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for electing me. By electing the chair of the ordinary general meeting, we have done the second point of the agenda, point 3, confirmation of the legality of convening the ordinary general meeting and its capacity to adopt resolutions. First of all, I'm signing the attendance list. Let me inform you that the list signed by the chair of the ordinary general meeting will be submitted for you to view, for the shareholders to view during this ordinary general meeting. Those of you who need to see the document will have an opportunity to do so until the end of this ordinary general meeting. Moving on to the confirmation of the legality of convening the ordinary general meeting, I would like to inform you that this ordinary general meeting have been convened in accordance with the current legal requirements. The announcement was published on the website of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. at www.kghm.com on the 5th of May 2026. And this announcement is still on the website. The content of the announcement meets the requirements specified in the Code of Commercial Company, Article 402 and 17/2026. This is the number of the announcement. It was sent on the 5th of May 2026 to the electronic information database in accordance with the legal provisions on the financial instruments and the regulations on public companies. In the report number 18/2026, the proposed resolutions have been published, resolutions submitted to this general meeting. The documentation submitted to the general meeting has been published on the website of the company in line with the criteria specified in Article 402 of the Code of Commercial Companies. These documents are still on the website. I would like to inform you that no shareholder has exercised the right specified in 401 of the Code of Commercial Companies, that is submitting proposal for a point on the agenda, but 2 shareholders, Nationale Nederlanden and the State Treasury, before the date of this general meeting, put forward candidates for the supervisory board in relation to the fact that there is a point on the agenda on the resolutions on the election of members of the Supervisory Board. A National Netherlander did that on the 1st of June 2026, and the company published this in the report number 2026. The State Treasury informed everybody of that yesterday, and the company put information on this on the report number 21/2026. The list has been complied in accordance with Article 407 and 406 of the Code of Commercial Companies, in line with Section 25.1 of the Statutes of the company. The General Meeting can adopt resolutions if at least 1/4 of the share capital is represented. Currently, the attendance is as follows. We have in this room, in person, or represented by proxies, all 843 shareholders. Number of shares 141,171,163 shares. The percentage of the capital represented 17.586, rounded up to the 100 of percent. So I hereby announce that we have a quorum capable of holding this ordinary general meeting and adopting resolutions. Is there? We have a quorum, so this general meeting was convened without possibilities of participating in it through electronic media. All the votes will be direct votes by people present in this room. So, in view of the above, I would like to say that this meeting has been convened legally. It's valid. It's capable of adopting the resolutions. And we have representatives of the media. My request to them is to introduce them. Iwona Mieszkać, Łuczka Kazimierczak, Głos Głogowa, mój Głogów website, Madła Źródek, trade union representative from the KGHM, Lublin24.com, Tomasz Jóźwiek z Miedzi.pl website. Thank you very much. Any shareholders or proxies have reservations about representatives of the media taking part in this general meeting? No reservations and protests. So let me inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that we have also representatives of certified accountant responsible for checking the reports, representing PricewaterhouseCoopers, which can be important in the reporting part of this ordinary general meeting. The meeting is streamed online on the internet, and the entire meeting is being recorded. As far as I know, it's recorded out in the audio and video format. As from the information I have, I can tell you that the recording will be published later on the website of the company. This is all as far as point 3 on the agenda. Point 4, acceptance of the agenda of the ordinary general meeting. The agenda of the meeting is an obligatory part of the announcement of the general meeting, and I assume that everybody present here knows the agenda. Is there a need for the agenda to be read out? I don't think there is such a need, so we assume that all people present here know the agenda. Would you like to present some comments on the published agenda Or do you have any suggestions concerning the adoption of the agenda? If there are any such remarks, questions, please do so now. No contributions, so there is a resolution. It's resolution number 2026 of the Ordinary General Meeting of KGHM with its registered office in Lublin, dated 9th June 2026, on the acceptance of the agenda of the Ordinary General Meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. The Ordinary General Meeting of KGHM resolves the following. In section 1, the following agenda of the Ordinary General Meeting of KGHM is hereby accepted, and all the points are listed, and it's known to all of you. Some of the points have already been done. It contains 16 points. Point 16 is the closing of the Ordinary General Meeting. In section 2 of this resolution, we read that this resolution comes into force upon its adoption. Are there any comments on this proposal for a resolution? No? So let's have a vote. The vote is an open vote, and it will be settled by an ordinary majority.
Głosowanie.
The vote is in progress at the moment.
Dziękuję.
Thank you very much. I understand that we can say that all people authorized to vote have voted, so let's close the voting. Let's present the results on the screens first. The number of votes cast for the adoption of the resolution, 140,992,158, against 179 and 4, abstentions none. So I hereby declare that the resolutions on the acceptance of the agenda of the Ordinary General Meeting has been adopted in an open ballot. Let's move to the reporting part of this Ordinary General Meeting, starting from point 5 on the agenda and ending on point 10. So this means presentation as required, various reports submitted to the General Meeting by the management of the company and the Supervisory Board. The procedure of the points would be as follows. First of all, I would like to suggest a reference to the publications by the company, on publications on the website of the company and SPV, the Electronic Information System. All these reports mentioned in the agenda from point 5 to point 10 have been published well in advance. So I assume that all interested parties have had access to them. So this presentation of the documents, I think, has been completed. In addition, what we can read from point 5 to point 10, let me also inform you that the general meeting will be debating the report on good practices in sponsoring in sport by state treasury companies in 2025. This report was added to the documentation presented by the company and was published together with other documents before the general meeting on the website of the company. As an introduction to the discussion, we will have a brief presentation by the management board with key points of the report. Then I suggest that we open a discussion, and this discussion will cover points from 5 until point 10. So it will cover all the reports and all the proposals mentioned in this point. Shareholders wishing to contribute to this discussion will have an opportunity to do so. Is this formula of proceedings clear to all present? I think yes. So let me invite the management board of the company to present reports submitted to the general meeting and reports and proposals.
Dzień dobry, szanowni.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As Mr. Chair said already, the financial performance and results have already been published before. And I'm talking not only about the entire 2025, but also I'm talking about detailed publication of Q1 performance 2026. And I would not like to dwell on the details and particular results. I would just like to present several general comments on the actions of the company and management board in 2025, and then I will give the floor to Mr. Krzyżewski so that he can comment on the most important items pertaining to our financial performance and the operational activity of the company. Ladies and gentlemen, as the management board, we believe that 2025, first of all, last year, the company had very good results, and I'm not talking only about the financial results, but also operational activities. So this is a year of responsible decisions and very sustainable implementation of our decisions. When looking at the stability of our operations, based on extended assets, the management board decided to build 3 new shafts here in the Copper Basin area. These are fundamental decisions in terms of our investments, and they will secure the continuity of production. They will also provide the security of mining and metallurgy for years to come, tens of years to come. At the same time, the management board increased the effectiveness of the organization, and we made very good decisions. We, as a result, increased our investment capacity. Furthermore, we saw improvement in our processes, in the main technological processes of KGHM. So we made a decision and we started implementing a cost optimization process, and I'm talking about the cost optimization process that brings us very positive effects. So we focus on those areas that have the greatest potential with regard of cost optimization, so materials, energy, production, and inventories. And it is very, very important in our operations. So these are particular actions, and I have said they bring tangible results. At the same time, I believe that we have a very good cooperation with the social party. We have a stable social dialogue within the entire group, and this has been proven by having a remuneration consensus that was reached at the beginning of this year. And also this is based on our performance, on our results from 2025 to a large extent. We want to be good partners to the social party. And thanks to the involvement of the management board in 2025, and I would like to underline that, we have now a changed tax environment, and this allowed us to release a large pool of assets for investments. And I would like to underline that this is money that comes from lower taxes, and part of these assets are already invested in our country. I would also like to say that our international assets are important. So mines and our previous investments abroad, and I'm talking about Chile and the USA. So we very efficiently continued the construction of the Victoria mine in Canada, and the result is almost half of the EBITDA from the international assets that we have. So these assets are really, really significant, and they are a great stabilizer, so to say, of our financial performance, and it gives us a lot of room for improvement, investment, and stabilizing our operational activity. Also, and we talked about that before, we do have certain plans regarding expansion abroad, and we are going to talk about that when presenting our strategy. In 2025, we prepared a strategy that required certain corrections, adjustments, already with the new composition of the management board, and this pertained to our activity abroad, strengthening our energy side, and the third pillar area was the capital group, and I'm not talking only about the companies here in Poland, but also our international assets. We are going to present this strategy at the beginning of July. So this is our corporate calendar, and this is, of course, connected with the date of presenting the results for particular months. Ladies and gentlemen, since we do have these good results and we do have our long-term dividend policy in place, we decided to pay dividend in the amount 1.50 groszy per share. And this is, and I'm talking to our shareholders that are here in the room and the proxies, this is going to be discussed today as well. And now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Krzyżewski. Thank you very much. Mr. Krzyżewski, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Now I would like to remind you about our performance in 2025. I will give you two dimensions, year on year, and then I will refer to the budget of 2025. So, as far as the consolidated revenue goes, we have an increase of 3%. So this is over 36 billion and Polish zlotys, and cost discipline and certain operational leverage resulted in an increase of 22% of EBITDA. So this exceeded 10 billion on a consolidated level, and our profit was 28% or 20% higher. So this is over 3,680,000,000 Polish zlotys. Now, let's move on to the budget dimension. When you look at the production in Poland and abroad, the production of payable copper was according to the budget, molybdenum and silver. The parameters exceeded our budget assumptions. When we look at the sales, comparing this to 2025, payable copper, this was according to our budget, and sales of silver exceeded the budget, and precious metals as well, which allowed us to reach the results that were assumed in the budget. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. In accordance with my previous announcement, I will open a discussion in a minute, and this will be our main discussion of this general meeting, and it will include points 5 to 10 of the agenda. And the first question, that I would like to know whether there are any participants who would like to express their views or comments now. If you would
Dzień dobry.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Margaret Lack. So now a request. I would like to ask you, if possible, if you have prepared your questions, I would like to ask you to convey your questions or comments to the chair of the general meeting. In a moment, I will ask you to formulate your questions that were prepared for today's general meeting. Then I would propose a short technical break so that the management board or the supervisory board can present their answers. So now let me give the floor to Mr. Adam Siwek. Good afternoon. I'm a shareholder. My name is Adam Siwek, and I'm the president of the thermal energy company and a foundation, Pełna Energia. And I have questions, but they will be preceded by a quote. A letter from the president to the shareholders. So let me quote this letter. KGHM for years have been operating in light of sustainable development, combining production needs to responsible approach to the environment and relations with local communities. One of the pillars of KGHM Polska Miedz is involvement in dialogue and good neighborly relations. Energy transformation and diversification of energy sources remained a very important direction of acting of the company. The highest operational standards, transparency and dialogue build value. I would like to thank all the shareholders of KGHM Group that take active part in the dialogue and support us in development sincerely. Ladies and gentlemen, in light of the information presented in the financial statement, including the emissions, there's a question arising. is this transparency model declared in the statement? The model of environmental responsibility, dialogue and relations is reflected in the actual activities of the group. So these questions I would like to ask to the supervisory board, especially that they are supervising the everyday activities of the company. So 3 questions. So does the supervisory board confirms that they received a letter on the 17th of October 2025 regarding the inspection of the responsibility to inform shareholders about the activities. So is the lack of the response mean that the supervisory board thinks that the risk is not important? Has the supervisory board analyzed the decisions of the court that state that the organs of the KGHM do not provide public information with the threat of breaking or infringing on the relevant legislation? So the questions that you are asking pertain to the questions regarding the closure of the year 2025. Okay, yes, that is true. So I do have more than 10 questions to the management board. Can the management board confirm that the financial statements for 2025 fully reflects all the important risks, regulatory risk, environmental risk, and operational risk of the group for 2025? What reserves do you have for potential environmental fines, regulatory fines, and risks related to the energy and thermal energy activities of the companies of the group? So does the board think that the risk included in the letter from the 17th of October are not fully revealed in the financial statements for 2025? Does the management board think that the damage regarded to the mining activity are not present? Can the management board explain why the Lubin pays fines to the managers of the road infrastructure, water infrastructure, but in terms of the thermal energy, they say that there are no losses? How does the management board defines the causal relation regarding to the mining activities that might be deemed dissipated? Does the management think that the in Legnica risk is included in the financial statement? Do you think that this risk is important in terms of financial statement, and how is this reflected in the financial statement? When will the management board present the current energy strategy of the KGHM Capital Group? Does the lack of this strategy impact the investment decisions and risk management? What were the reasons for refusal of participation in Strategic Energy Collaboration Poland and the study visit from Denmark and an attaché in the Embassy of Denmark, even though the Marshal of the Lower Silesia, Minister of Energy, and the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Denmark have the patronage over this project? Has the management board analyzed this cooperation, and what are the results of this assessment? Why did you refuse the dialogue in this respect with stakeholders? Does the management board confirm that the installation at the Dobrzewska street in Legnica was exploited according to the permit and the provisions of the directive? In 2025, emission indexes have they been exceeded, and if so, for how long? And have you reported that to relevant bodies? Have you analyzed the risk of fines related to the operation of the installation on Dobrzewska Street? Installation Niklova Street, was it operating in 2025 and did it produce energy? Did the management board analyze the risk of these operations without the proper concession? And the last question, can the management board confirm that all the risks, including mining damage and regulatory risk and environmental risk, were reliably and fully revealed in according to MSF as well? Have they been revealed to the shareholders? And this is the only opportunity for me to ask these questions, and my questions are very detailed. All the letters that we sent were not addressed. We did not receive any responses. We did not receive satisfactory answers. So thank you very much for this possibility of asking these questions. So these questions, do you... Okay, so I do not have these questions in writing, but I have them. There are not many of them, and maybe somebody could actually write a note to the relevant bodies in KGHM. Yes, we can do that. Question number 1. It pertains to the financial statement, the separate financial statement. I'm talking about page 2627. And I'm talking about the loss of the value of the assets. I'm going to wait till the president opens this statement. Generally, in this part of the financial statement, the company said that nothing shows that the test of value loss should be performed, or a test for reversing the value loss of the national assets. However, compared to the situations from 2 years ago, when this was taking into account the macroeconomic assumptions and the situation in the company were different. I'm talking about company capitalization, prices of metals, etc. And now, you said that you are implementing a number of cost optimization activities. We do have a change in the asset tax, and I would like to quote one sentence from the statement. There's a sentence there. Following the change of the regulation on changing the tax on mining materials, there is no reason to change. There's going to be no impact on the value of the assets, national assets. However, this is what the board said. However, there are public documents, like the justification to the act, signed by Prime Minister Donald Tusk. There's information about benefits that KGHM enjoys after introducing or implementing this act. It's 10 billion PLN within 10 years, and for the first 3 years, this is about 2 billion. Looking at the quarterly results, I would like to say that these benefits are larger than expected. Even this is visible in the Q1. So my question is, do you still claim those? If If we did that, the result for 2025 would be higher by 3 billion Polish zlotys. You quoted one of the financial statements presented to the general meeting, and I do believe that your statements have been well thought through. However, today we are not changing the wording of the statement. However, according to the Act on Accounting, until the statement is not approved, it can be changed. Theoretically, yes. But is this your intention? No. Would you like to change the financial statement or one of the financial statements presenting to the general meeting? Because this is what I understand. Because you asked whether the management board maintains its position, but the position of the management board is included and reflected in the financial statement, right? Okay, this is a statement from March. It was presented in June, and now I quoted a governmental document from October. Yes, of course, there are numerous factors that are important to you, but I would like to know whether the management board took into account this governmental document, concluding that the change in the tax is not a reason for value loss. Okay, so I understand this is your first question. This question has been written down, and now can you move on to the next question? Symmetrical or analogous question to the supervisory board. Is Mr. Matysiak here? He's our main auditor, Mariusz Dziurcia, is here. Okay, I would like to know whether you are a certified auditor and what role did you play in the statement. I'm a managing partner of the entire process, and I represent the company, but are you the main certified auditor? I am a certified auditor responsible for the financial statement. Okay, so what's your question? Okay, value loss. You said that this is one of the main issues of this examination. And this is a quote from the separate financial statement. So the analysis included the understanding of the process of identifying the process of value loss, reasons why there's no value loss. So can you tell me, during your analysis, did you also analyze this document that I mentioned? This is a public document. This is a justification of the government for the bill regarding the tax on certain mined assets, and it was signed by Prime Minister Donald Tusk. And it says, this document says that the benefits for KGHM in the first 3 years is about 2 billion zlotys, and in the next years to come is 1 billion Polish zlotys per year. Have you analyzed that, and what other procedures did you perform in this particular scope? So I would like to focus on this value loss of the national assets. Okay, that's your next question. Thank you. We have written that down. And the next question, please. Okay, so that's the question for our certified auditor. And now the next question. And do we have any other questions? Okay, question number 3 to the management board. In 2023, the company had a marginal exposure to any securing instruments, no open positions for copper and silver. But at the end of 2025, the scale of these measures increased to 27 million ounces of silver, over 200,000 in terms of copper, and the exposure increased by 5 million ounces of silver. In the statement for 2025, we have a negative value of these instruments in total profit, 2.3 billion Polish zlotys, and this is the highest negative result in the history of KGHM. I'm talking about nominal values. And my question to the management board is, the decision of risk management changes, has it been supported by any analysis of risks before, including the profit and loss analysis long term? And have you also analyzed the results of internal reports, audits pertaining to the process of hedging the metal prices? Thank you. Next question. The question has been written down. Now, next question, please. This is a question to the management board. It pertains to the supervision of a particular company, a foreign company. It's a very specific characteristic question, maybe. What I'm talking about is the control scope over DMC mining services. In public materials that are currently available in the emission prospect of the Alumina Metals Company, DMC Mining Services is indicated as a source of information pertaining to the plant investments for investments near Nowa Sól. Okay, so I would like to ask the following. Is the management board aware that this information is available in the market, that the information from the subsidiary of KGHM has been used, and has this information been verified within the ownership supervision over this company? So I'm talking about a potential risk for the future regarding the reputation. So that's what I wanted to ask. That's all. These are all your questions, right? Okay. So now
the resolution on the appropriation of profits, if you like to address the proposal for the resolution, I will give you this opportunity when we vote on the profits. That would be point 11D. If it's only the proposal for the resolution. If you want to formulate something more, if you are talking only about a proposed resolution, please submit it at the point when we will have the voting. Thank you very much. I agree with that. I will present a proposal for the relevant resolution in point 11. To sum up, I would like to suggest that we have a 20-minute break in order for the company representatives to be able to present their position on answering the questions asked to them. Let me say that the questions to the supervisory board, given the fact that it is a collegiate body, the supervisory board specifies its position on a given a matter collegially, I think that the company will refer to these questions, no doubt. But these questions can be answered in a limited manner during this general meeting, given the fact that the nature of the board is collegial, the supervisory board is collegial. That's all. I think that a break of 20 minutes will be enough. So let's have a 20-minute break. It's 12:25, so please come back 1:45. A request for you to take your seat to continue our ordinary general meeting. A request for you to inform the people still in the lobby to return to the room, because we will soon resume the general meeting. I hereby resume the ordinary general meeting of KGHM. We are in the reporting part of this general meeting. In the course of the discussion covering points from 5 until point 10 of the agenda, the shareholders have formulated some questions. After the resumption of the meeting, there is a request to the management board to present its position on the questions asked by the shareholders. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the management board, I would like to confirm that all the questions submitted today at this ordinary general meeting, all the reports have been prepared in accordance with all the rules and regulations and prepared meticulously. When it comes to answers to these questions addressed to the management board, we will respond as required by law within 14 days in writing, because first of all, we have to check, and that's one of the main reasons, we have to check whether the detailed answers to these questions do not infringe a confidentiality, B, require us to go back to the source documents in order to prepare a good answer, in order for these answers to be reliable, honest, and as detailed as possible, given the objective situation, given the requirements of confidentiality and secrecy. Thank you very much. When it comes to the questions addressed to the supervisory board, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the questions addressed to the supervisory board, one concerned November 2025, we will check that. I was not member of the supervisory board then, but we will really check whether the board was informed and what decisions it took on the matter. The other issue concerns March this year. Well, we are dealing with year 2025, but the board has asked the management board for explanations. We have not yet received all of them, because I know that talking to the president, some decisions have already been taken, and so we are yet to receive When it comes to the rulings come from 2 weeks ago. The company received them last week, and the supervisory board will certainly explore that, but that concerns 2026. Thank you very much. In view of the above, we have to decide that the discussion on the reporting part. Yes, I'm sorry. I do apologize. Please, please let the auditor present his position. I hereby confirm our position expressed in the opinion from the 26th of March. We have read the relevant documents, confirming now that there are no grounds for tests for loss of value. Thank you very much. I understand that. No. In accordance with the rules and the regulations, we have times for questions and replies. So I can reply to what I've heard. I can reply to what I've heard. Yes, one of my questions on the position of the management board on the loss of value issue concerned the here and now. In 2 weeks, I understand we will vote on the financial statement, but if you decided now that, for example, having analyzed this government document, that you conclude, well, we were wrong, we've made a mistake, perhaps indeed this change in the tax does give us some additional earnings and our assumptions from March were wrong. I understand that you have been talking about encouraging the management board on changing its position. No. The management said that it will reply within 14 days, but I think we should receive the answer here and now. Please, let me tell you that this term, this deadline within 2 weeks, it has been provided for in the Code of Commercial Companies. So we are complying with the legal regulations, and in the situation in which you are formulating your questions, important for you, this requires preparation for answers based on analyses of the relevant documents. The admissible form of reply is a reply in writing within 2 weeks under Article 428 of the Code of Commercial Companies. It's a usual procedure followed during a general meeting. So a reply is provided in the form of a report and addressed to everybody. Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, if I may. Yes, I'm aware of the procedure of the deadlines, but I do like to draw your attention to one issue. The management board was informed many times about the risks I mentioned, and it has failed to reply. That's one thing. The rulings that were delivered a few days ago, they do concern 2025. I would like to stress that. That's the second part. And the third part, perhaps a verification of risks that may materialize and may influence the financial statement, leading to its correction. So if I may, I would like to ask the management board, well, when it comes to specific questions that were read out, the management board was aware of these risks. They were. That's all I wanted to say. I do understand. I do confirm what I've said later. There is a procedure for providing information, for transparent information relating to the ordinary meeting, providing answers in the course of a general meeting, and it cannot be questioned, that procedure. When it comes to your position on the impact of specific circumstances on the content of the statement, financial statement, let me inform you that irrespective of how important it seems to you what you are talking about, we may be dealing with what can be described as divergence of positions. Not necessarily, we don't have to agree with you. I think that every single person formulating any question or thesis during this general meeting today is aware of the fact that the perception of company issues and the impact of various circumstances on the company operations, in the opinion of the management board, may be different from what it seems from the perspective of a shareholder coming to the general meeting and having a different view on the matter. We do understand this situation. The position of the management board may be different from your position. It can be so, but it doesn't have to be so. This position has been divergent, different for many months, which doesn't change the situation. You have asked your questions. The management board has declared its willingness to reply, and I assume that the management board will reply within 2 weeks, the statutory deadline. So we are hereby closing the discussion on the reporting part of this meeting. The statement referred from points 5 to 10. They have been submitted to the general meeting. As has been said before, we have referred to earlier publications of the company, and also they have been read by the general meeting. So next point on the agenda is number 11. In point A, we have approval of the separate financial statement of KGHM Polska Miedz for the financial year ended of the 31st of December 2025. That's point 8. So the proposed resolution submitted to the general meeting on this matter has been published among the materials for this general meeting. The question, do we need to read out the whole proposal of the resolution before we vote on it? So I see no comment on that, so I assume that the proposal for the one more question on a formal issue. Perhaps we could vote on a break in the meeting until the moment we receive the answers, and then we can continue when the management board has prepared the answers. We have the 9th of June. We have time until the end of the month, so quite a lot of time. Honestly speaking, I don't know whether we can submit such a formal proposal to have a break. Please come down. Well, does your contribution formulated now, should it be treated as a formal proposal for a break in this general meeting until the 30th of June 2026? Until the management board has prepared, what we can do, we can announce a break, which in line with the regulations of the code will not be longer than 30 days, indicated a date and place where the general meeting will be resumed. So if the management board has prepared the answers in 2 weeks, we can meet in 2 weeks. Let me draw your attention to the fact that a resolution on a break in the general meeting cannot be conditional. We cannot say if in the resolution. So the question is, we heard that we will have answers in 2 weeks. I have a question to you then. Are you submitting a formal proposal for a break in the general meeting until a specific date, or no? Yes. I think three weeks will be enough. So until the 30th of June, I formally submit a proposal for a break in this general meeting in order to resume it on the 30th of June. Such a proposal is submitted under Article 408 of the Code of Commercial Companies on the break in the general meeting on a date different from the and such a proposal requires a qualified majority of 2/3. Is the situation clear? Can I have your name? Jerzy Paluchnik. Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby start a vote on. Can we have a 5-minute break? Do you need time to consult? So 5 minutes? Yes. So I announce a 5-minute technical break, following which we will vote on the proposal by Mr. Jerzy Paluchnik to announce a break in the general meeting until the 30th of June 2026 and resume the general meeting at the venue when it was convened. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, have you managed to receive the required information for you to be able to vote? Do we have everybody in the room? So we hereby starting the vote on the proposal for announcing a break in the general meeting until the 30th of June 2026. The hour of the resumption can be the same, so 11 o'clock. I assume that the venue will be available on this date, on this potential date of the resumption of the general meeting. So I hereby announce the vote on the proposed resolution on announcing a break in the general meeting, the ordinary general meeting of the KGHM Polska Miedz S.A., acting under Article 408 of the Code of Commercial Company, announces a break in the general meeting until the 30th of June 2026 until 11 o'clock. The meeting will be resumed at the venue of the Wyszykowski room, at the venue where the general meeting has been convened, and the relevant address of the company as in the announcement of the convening of the meeting. In this resolution come into force upon its adoption. If this resolution is adopted, the meeting will suspend all the procedures until the day of the resumption of the meeting. So I hereby start the vote. Please vote. Those of you who are for the break, use the plus tag. Those who are against the break, use the minus tag. Please note that given the qualified majority required for this vote, all votes, including abstentions, are taken into account in this vote. I hereby close the voting. Please present the results. The number of votes for is 6. Votes against 70,982,668. Abstentions 68,263,134 votes. So I hereby declare that the number of votes for this resolution is not enough to adopt a resolution on a break in the general meeting. So let us return to the agenda. We have a vote on the approval of the separate financial statements of KGHM Polska Miedz for the financial year ending on the 31st December 2025. Let me stress here that the management board has confirmed the validity of this statement, and so has the auditor. So let us vote on this proposal of resolution, and it will be an open ballot. The proposal has been included in the material prepared for the general meeting. There is no need to read out the whole draft resolution, so cast your vote on the resolution on the approval of the separate financial statements of KGHM Polska Miedz for the financial year ended on the 31st of December 2025.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the voting. Please present the results. The number of votes cast for the adoption of the resolution, 139,992,096, against 636,145, abstentions 542,921 votes. So I hereby declare that the resolution has been adopted by the general meeting. Next, subpoint B, adoption of the resolution on the approval of the consolidated financial statements of the KGHM Group for the financial year ended on the 31st of December 2025. The proposal of the resolution is included in the materials for this general meeting. So I hereby submit this for the vote of the general meeting. Please cast your votes. The voting is in progress.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote. Please present the results. The number of votes for the adoption of the resolution, 139,992,097, against 636,144, abstentions 542,921. So the resolution has been adopted by the general meeting. Point 3. Adoption of the resolution on the approval of the Management Board's report on the activities of KGHM Polska Miedz, and the proposal of the resolution has been included in the materials for the general meeting. I hereby submit it to the general meeting to vote on it. Approval of the Management Board's report on the activities of the KGHM Polska Miedz and the KGHM Polska Miedz Group. Please cast your votes now.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote, and please present the results. The number of votes for 140,438,831 against 189,410, abstentions 542,921 votes. So the resolution has been adopted by the general meeting in an open ballot. Point D, and the adoption of the resolution on the appropriation of profit for 2025. I would like to present the proposal for the resolution. We can read the ordinary general meeting of the KGHM Polska Miedz hereby resolves that the profit for 2025 of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. in the amount of 1,423,404.72 zlotys shall be appropriated as follows. 1. As shareholder dividend, 300 million zlotys. Which represents 1.5 zloty per one share. Reserves capital 1,646,423,407 zlotys. Section 2, the ordinary general meeting hereby sets the following: a dividend date for 2025 at 25th June 2026. 2. Payment date for dividend for 2025 as at 9 July 2026 in the amount of 1.5 zloty per share. 3. The resolution comes into force upon its adoption. The proposal is accompanied by a justification. Mr. Barylak has prepared an alternative proposal for the resolution, and so I ask him to present it now. Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen, operating as shareholders, I would like to proposal for a resolution on the appropriation of profit of KGHM Group for 2025. The ordinary general meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz on the 9th of June 2026 resolves the following. 1. The ordinary general meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz resolves to divide the net profit for 2025 in the amount of 1,936,423,407.72 zloty in the following manner. 1. For shareholder dividend, 600 million zlotys, so 3 zloty per one share. Point 2. For reserve capital, 1,346,432,407 zloty and 72 groszy. 2. The ordinary general meeting of KGHM sets a dividend date for 25th June 2025, a payment day of dividend for 2025 as at 9th July 2026, and the amount is 1.5 zloty. The resolution comes into force upon its adoption. Justification for this proposal of resolution. The dividend is a link between the company and shareholders, and is a form of reward for the capital and contribution to the success of the company. The increased amount of dividend in comparison to the recommendation of the management board will not have a measurable impact on the investment program of the company and will not cause an imbalance between the dividend and the capacity of the company to invest effectively, and is in line of Article 339 of the Code of Commercial Companies. In 2024, let me note, the ordinary general meeting decided to pay dividend for 2023 in the amount of 1.50 zloty per share, despite the fact that the financial statement of the KGHM for the financial year ending on the 31st of December 2023 showed a net loss of 1,150,000,000 Polish zloty. And the payment of the dividend made no impact on the operations of the company, especially given the economic aspects. Significantly, from December 2025, the situation on the market has been very good when it comes to the main materials extracted by the company. Both the national and international analysts say that the prices of these materials will continue given the demand on international markets. As a result, in the first quarter of 2025, the company has achieved a net profit of 3,359,000,000, which is a rise of over 10% in comparison with the previous year. In view of the above, given the need to maintain the relationship between the company and the shareholders and the interests of the company, the proposal is justified and necessary. Thank you very much. Can I have this proposal in writing?
Dwa egzemplarze. Tak. Dziękuję bardzo.
2 copies. Thank you very much.
Czy ktoś z Państwa
does anyone present here would like to say something about the appropriation of profit for 2025? I don't see any hands and requests for the floor. I think that we should have a 10-minute break in order for proxies to consult the principles, how to vote, and then secondly, the financial implications of the proposal need to be checked and verified with regard to the fact whether all the amounts will balance each other out. And so I think we'll be ready to resume the proceedings in 10 minutes. So let's meet here at 1:42 here. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We are going to resume the general meeting shortly. If you could please tell all the persons that are still outside the room to come back so that we can resume the proceedings. Thank you. I hereby resume the proceedings of the general meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. This is the point 11D of the agenda. And in this point, we are going to adopt a resolution on the appropriation of profit of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. for 2025. Marek Baryła, shareholder, has a draft resolution with alternative wording of this resolution. We are going to vote on this draft in the first place. So here are the assumptions. The amount from the profit for a dividend is 600 million Polish zlotys, which is 3 zlotys per share. And the company's reserve capital 1,346,432,407.72 Polish zlotys. And paragraph 2, dividend date is the 25th of June 2026, and the payment date of dividend is the 9th of July 2026, 3 zlotys per share. And this is the wording of the resolution read in full by Mr. Badylak before that. So let's have a voting on the resolution regarding appropriation of profit as presented by Mr. Badylak. This is an open voting. Please cast your votes now.
W sytuacji, gdyby projekt
If the draft resolution proposed by Mr. Badylak receives a simple majority of votes, the general meeting will approve the resolution that is aligned with the intention of Mr. Badylak, and then we do not vote on the proposition of the management board. If the simple majority is not achieved, then we are going to vote on the proposal presented by the management board.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you very much. Has everyone cast their votes? I'm closing the voting now, and please present the results of the voting. Votes for the adoption of the resolution, 29,266,226 votes. Against 63,599,902 votes. Abstention 46,399,680 votes. I hereby state that the resolution did not achieve the required majority and is not being approved by the general meeting. Now we are going to vote on the resolution proposed by the management board. Let me remind you of the values: 300 million Polish zlotys for dividend, 1.5 Polish zlotys per share, and for the company's reserve capital, 1,423,407.72 Polish zlotys, the dividend date at 25th of June 2026, and the payment date of the dividend 9th of July 2026, the amount of 1.5 Polish zlotys. Now let's vote.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I'm closing the voting now. The number of votes for adopting the resolution, 140,992,152, against 179,009, and abstentions 1. I hereby state that the resolution is adopted by the general meeting. The next point on the agenda is the approval of the report of the Supervisory Board of KGHM Polska Miedz for 2025. The wording of the resolution: the ordinary general meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz approves the report of the Supervisory Board of KGHM Polska Miedz for 2025. Paragraph 2, the resolution comes into force upon its adoption. Now let's vote on this resolution. Please cast your votes.
Zamykam.
I'm closing the voting. Let's see the results, please. Number of votes for 140,449,231 votes, against 179,009, abstentions 542,921. I hereby state that the resolution has been approved. Now let's move on to point 11F. Regarding issuing an opinion on the report on the remuneration of the Management Board and Supervisory Board of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. for 2025, the wording is as follows. The Ordinary General Meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. gives a favorable opinion on the report on the remuneration of the Management Board and Supervisory Board of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. for 2025. Now let's vote on the resolution. Please cast your votes.
Czy możemy uznać?
Can I close the voting? Yes. Okay, I hereby close the voting. Let's see the results. Number of votes for adopting the resolution 84,133,663 votes, against 45,951,266, abstentions 10,935,189. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted by the General Meeting. The next point in the agenda, point number 12, these are approvals of the performance of duties of members of the Management Board of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. for 2025. As an introduction, let me add that all the resolutions pertaining to the performance of duties for the members of the Management Board of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. are going to be secret ballots because these are confidential matters. And the second piece of information is that there are certain limitations to the voting rights that stem from paragraph 113 of the Commercial Companies Code. So the proxies cannot vote on the performance of duties for the members of the Management Board. And if such a situation takes place, I'm going to ask the technical crew to exclude such a person from voting. And now, in the next votings, I'm only going to provide you with the name and surname of the person that is subject to the voting. I'm not going to read the entire wording of the resolution. So the first resolution pertains to Mr. Zbigniew Bryja. And we do not want to decline the name. I'm talking about linguistic declination. So Zbigniew Bryja. And now we are going to vote on the resolution regarding the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Zbigniew Bryja, a member of the Management Board of KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. So now please cast your votes. This is a secret ballot.
Czyli możemy uznać.
Can I deem the voting closed? Yes, I'm closing the voting. Let's see the results. The number of votes for adopting the resolution 140,286,934. Against 251,522, abstentions 632,706. So the resolution has been approved in the secret ballot. The next resolution pertains to the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Piotr Krzyżewski. Let's vote in a secret ballot. Please cast your votes.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the voting. The number of votes for 140,286,933, against 251,523, abstentions 632,706. I hereby state that the resolution in a secret ballot has been adopted. The next resolution, approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Mirosław Laskowski. It's a secret ballot. Please cast your votes.
Trwa głosowanie.
The voting is on.
Zamykam głos.
I'm closing the voting. The number of votes for 140,286,934 votes, against 251,521, abstentions 632,706 votes. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. The next resolution pertains to the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Iga Drotalis. Let's have a secret ballot on the resolution. In this case, please cast your votes.
Trwa głosowanie.
The voting is in progress.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I'm closing the voting. The number of votes for 140,070,394. Votes against 468,061. Abstentions 632,706. So the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. Now, resolution on the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Piotr Stryczek. Let's have a secret ballot. Please cast your votes. The voting is in progress. I'm closing the voting. Let's see the results. The number of votes for adopting the resolution 138,263,268. Against 468,060. Abstentions 630 to 706 votes. So I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot by the general meeting. The next resolution pertains to the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Anna Sobiera-Kozakiewicz. Let's have a secret ballot on the case. Please cast your votes. I'm closing the voting. Let's see the results. The number of votes for adopting the resolution 140,068,423, votes against 470,032, abstentions 632,606 votes. I hereby state that the resolution was adopted in the secret ballot. The next voting pertaining to the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Andrzej Szydło. Let's vote on the resolution for the approval of the performance of duties for Andrzej Szydło. The voting is secret. Please cast your votes. The voting is in progress. I'm closing the voting, please. Let's see the results. The number of votes for adopting the resolution 140,068,422, votes against 470,032, abstentions 632,606. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. So these are the results of the voting on the approval of the performance of duties of members of the Management Board of KGHM Polska Miedz for 2025. So as I understand, all the persons from the Management Board have been included in the voters, and now we are going to move on to the adoption of resolutions on the approval of the performance of duties of members of the Supervisory Board of KGHM Polska Miedz for 2025. These are going to be secret ballots and Article 413, as I've mentioned before. First, we are going to vote on Aleksander Cieśliński. Let's vote. This is a secret ballot. Please cast your votes.
Trwa głosowanie.
The voting is in progress.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I'm closing the voting. Let's see the results. The number of votes for 131,361,612. Votes against 9,071,202. Abstentions 738,342. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. The next resolution pertains to the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Józef Czytecki. Let's vote on the resolution. The vote is secret. Please cast your votes.
Trwa głosowanie.
The voting is in progress.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I'm closing the voting. Let's see the results. The number of votes for adopting the resolution 131,580,034. Votes against 8,852,780. Abstentions 738,342. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. The next resolution pertains to the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Przemysław Darowski. Let's have a secret ballot on this case, and please cast your votes now.
Zamykam.
I'm closing the voting. Let's see the results. The number of votes for 133,088,000. We've lost the results. Can we see them again, please? Please, technical crew, we could not see the results. So again, for 133,088,187, against 384,254, abstentions 738,342. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. The next resolution pertains to the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Zbigniew Dobrowolski. We're going to have a secret ballot on this case. Please cast your votes now.
Zamykam głos.
I'm closing the voting, and let's see the results. The number of votes for 131,578,150 against 8,854,669, and abstentions 712,209. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. I have received information from the technical crew. It turns out that the attendance changed, that the number of shareholders present is 842. The quorum is still maintained, so the general meeting still can adopt resolutions. So one person left the room. The next resolution that is going to be voted on is the resolution on the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Dominik Januszewski. We're going to have a secret ballot on this case. Please cast your votes now.
Zamykam głos.
I hereby close the vote. Let's see the results. The number of votes for 139,806,551 against 626,268. Abstentions 712,209. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. The next resolution pertains to the approval of the performance of duties for 2025 of Tadeusz Kocowski. We're going to have a secret ballot on that. Please cast your votes now.
Zamykam głos.
I hereby close the vote. Let's see the results. The number of votes for is 123,397,474. Votes against 17,035,340. And abstentions 712,214. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot.
Next resolution is on the approval of the performance of duties of Mr. Marian Noga. So I hereby begin the vote. Please cast your votes.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote. Please present the results.
Liczba głosów.
The number of votes in total 141,145,929, against 10,071,617, abstentions 712,209. The resolution has been adopted. The next resolution concerns the approval of the performance of duties of Mr. Piotr Pruger. It will be voted on in a secret ballot. Please cast your votes.
Głosowanie. Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote and please present the results. In total, the number of votes for the adoption of the resolution, 139,946,316, against 486,503, abstentions 712,209. So the resolution has been adopted. The next resolution concerns the approval of performance of duties of Mr. Bogusław Szarek. Please cast your votes.
Zamykam głosowanie.
Hereby close the vote and please present the results. The number for the adoption of the resolution, 127,619,719, against 12,813,100, abstentions 712,209. So the resolution has been adopted by the general meeting in a secret ballot. The next vote is on the approval of the performance of duties of Ms. Joanna Zakrzewska. I hereby start the vote. Please cast your votes.
Alfabetycznie proszę. Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote. Please present the results.
Liczba głosów
The number of votes cast for the adoption of the resolution 139,957,594, against 475,225, abstentions 712,209. So the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. So these are the results of the votes on the approval of the performance of duties of members of the supervisory board. So those who were active in this financial year were taken into account in the financial year 2025? Yes. Okay. Now let us move on to the next point of the agenda. 14. Adoption of resolutions on the appointment of members of the new supervisory board of KGHM for the new 12th term. Some background information. The procedure of the appointment of the supervisory board is divided in two stages. In the first stage, we will appoint members of the management board appointed by the general meeting or under general rules, and in point 15 we will appoint members of the supervisory board designated by the employees of the company. I have the relevant documentation summing up the elections in the company with the announcement of the election commission, which carried out the elections on the 14th and 15th of January 2026. In the announcement, we read that for the new 12th term, on behalf of the company employees of the KGHM, the following have been elected: Mr. Marcin Kaczałowski, Bogusław Szarek, Przemysław Darowski, which will be confirmed by the relevant resolutions of the general meeting. First, we will vote on the appointment to the supervisory board on the general terms. And here I would like to inform you that when preparing the general meeting, as I've said, 7 candidates were proposed. The first was by the shareholder Nationale Nederlanden, and it was on the 29th of May 2026, and the information about this was published in the current report 20/2026, and the candidate is Ms. Joanna Zakrzewska. She was put forward as an independent candidate to the supervisory board. The relevant declarations were submitted to the company, and the information on this is included in the report I have mentioned. 6 candidates to the supervisory board were submitted yesterday on the 8th of June 2026. These candidates were submitted by the State Treasury: Mr. Zbigniew Ciąkalski, Artur Urlich, Łukasz Żylewski, Piotr Kruger, Ewa Banachowicz, Rafał Szmytke. And I understand that the shareholder confirms these candidates. Katarzyna Witkowska, the proxy of the State Treasury. Yes, Mr. Chair, I confirm these candidates. At the same time, I would like to inform you that all candidates submitted by the State Treasury has agreed to stand as candidates, and all have received the positive opinion of the relevant body. And I would like to present to you, Mr. Chair, the declarations of the candidates concerning their independence criteria. As I understand from these declarations, we can be sure that all the candidates meet the criteria specified in section 16 of the statute, referring to the Act on Certified Auditors and Public Supervision. If I remember correctly, Yes, I do see this request, yes. The situation that we have in connection with these candidates and the general rules, the general meeting appoints a maximum of 7 members of the supervisory board. Our 3 candidates are designated by the employees. 7 members are appointed on the general rules. At least 2 should meet the criteria of independence mentioned earlier. As far as I see, 7 out of those 7 candidates submitted fulfill these independence criteria. Okay. I would like to ask an additional question to the representative of the State Treasury. Do these declarations refer to the provisions of the Article 129, Section 3 of the Act on Certified Auditors? Because these are very strict provisions, criteria, and we know that, well, the independence criteria differ for the stock exchange, they differ in various regulations, but these ones are very precise, very strict, so I would like to be reassured whether they do fulfill these criteria. The independence criteria we are referring to, these are criteria defined in the Act on Certified Auditors and Public Supervision. In Article 129 of this Act, we have a catalogue of criteria that the regulator deems to be relevant when it comes to defining independence. And to these criteria we are referred in Section 16.5, as well as to good practices, which also refer to this Act on Certified Auditor and Public Supervision. If I'm mistaken or have omitted something, please correct me. I would also like to add that these declarations were filled and prepared using the form of the company published on its website, and the company published forms of declarations used by the candidates and the request that and the parties submitting the candidates. And let me also add that the statutory rules concerning the appointment of independent members of the supervisory board are as follows. This independence should be disclosed before the election, and which is basically has taken place. I would ask the question, apart from these candidates submitted, do you want to submit any other candidates in this, when it comes to the appointments of members of the supervisory board and the general rules? Are there any other candidates you would like to submit? Please do so now. So I see there are no other candidates, so the candidate list is closed. There are 7 candidates, and the votes on the appointment to the supervisory board will be in the alphabetical order. And we have a proposal of a framework resolution to be filled in 2 places. One concerns the date of the start of the term of the member of the supervisory board, because on the day of this general meeting adopting the statements, financial statements and other statements, the terms of the current members come to a close, so it is rational to start the new terms as of tomorrow, the 10th of June. If you have a different opinion, please present it now. So, we are clear on one point. Each of the proposed resolution will have this date. So the ordinary general meeting of the KGHM Polska Miedz as of the blank will be filled as of the 10th of June 2026 to the composition of the Supervisory Board of the KGHM SA, Mr., Mrs., Ms., for the new 12th term. Okay. Coming back to the independents, one of the candidates is the president of the CEO of the Polski Holdings Hotelowy, a state treasury company. Are there no links between this company and KGHM through the state treasury? Perhaps this person does not meet the independence requirements. The information on the fulfillment of the criteria of independence by the candidate is not through an investigation of the candidates. It is based on a declaration submitted by the candidate. The requesting party informs us of that the candidate has declared his or her independence, and that's all. No. But the Commission Supervisory Financial Supervision Commission will then verify whether the company has control procedures that make sure whether a candidate is indeed an independent or not. So, if we have a CV or resume of someone who is a CEO of a state treasury company, I think it's irrelevant to ask the question whether the state treasury, by proposing this particular person as a candidate, has carried out some internal analysis to establish whether this declaration is true. Perhaps, indeed, this person may not be aware entirely of this. Whether the state treasury has carried out its own verification of the declarations, we assume that the declarations submitted by the candidates for the supervisory board are true. If there are suggestions, premises to say otherwise when it comes to the authenticity of these declarations, the company will verify that. As of now, we have no grounds for questioning these declarations of independence. So let us start the votes on the resolutions on the appointment of supervisory board members appointed under general rules by the general meetings. We have 7 candidates, and the framework draft resolution will be used each time. So in alphabetical order, the first concerns the candidacy of Ewa Banachowicz and the appointment of Ewa Banachowicz as a member of the supervisory board. So we filled Ewa Banachowicz's name. So I hereby start a secret ballot on the appointment of Ewa Banachowicz as member of the supervisory board for the new 12th term. Please cast your vote.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote. Please present the result. A nad tym się nie głosuje.
Liczba głosów
The number of votes cast for the adoption of the resolution, 97,635,790, against 41,131,499, abstentions 2,377,739. So the resolution to appoint Ms. Ewa Banachowicz to the Supervisory Board of KGHM Polska Miedz for the 12th term has been adopted in a secret ballot. The next resolution concerns the appointment of Mr. Zbigniew Ciąkalski to the Supervisory Board. I hereby open a secret ballot on the resolution on the appointment of Mr. Ciąkalski to the Supervisory Board of KGHM.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote and let us see the results.
Liczba głosów
Number of votes cast for the adoption of the resolution, 97,635,790, against 41,131,498, abstentions 2,300,077,740, and so the resolution has been adopted by the General Meeting in a secret ballot. Next resolution will concern the appointment to the Supervisory Board of Mr. Piotr Prugar. And let us open a secret ballot on the resolution on the appointment of Mr. Piotr Prugar to the Supervisory Board. And we should add the name in the nominative in the Polish language in order to avoid any doubt as to the form of the last name. Mr. Piotr Prugar.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote.
Liczba
Number of votes cast for the adoption of the resolution 97,637,762 against 41,129,526. Abstentions 2,377,739. So the resolution has been adopted by the general meeting in a secret ballot. The next resolution will concern the appointment to the supervisory board of Mr. Rafał Schmidtke. So I hereby open this secret ballot on the appointment of Mr. Rafał Schmidtke to the supervisory board. Please cast your votes.
Tak, czy możemy zakończyć?
Can we finish the vote? I hereby close the vote. Please present the results.
Liczba głosów oddanych.
Number of votes cast for the resolution 97,635,789 against 41,131,499. Abstentions 2,377,740. So the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. The next resolution will concern the appointment to the supervisory board of Mr. Artur Urlich. I suggest that the last name should be added in the nominative in the content of the resolution. I hereby start the vote on the appointment of Mr. Artur Urlich to the supervisory board.
Możemy zakończyć.
Can we close the vote?
Zamykam głos.
I hereby close the vote.
Liczba głosów.
The number of votes cast for the resolution, 97,635,790, against 41,139,498, abstentions 2,377,739. So the resolution has been adopted by the General Meeting in a secret ballot. The next resolution will concern the appointment to the Supervisory Board of Ms. Joanna Zakrzewska. I hereby open a secret ballot on this resolution, and please cast your votes.
Joanna.
Ms. Joanna Zakrzewska, a candidate submitted by Nationale Nederlanden,
Kandydatka niezależna.
an independent candidate.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote. Please present the results.
Liczba
Number of votes cast for the adoption of the resolution, 97,635,791, against 41,138,497, abstentions 2,377,740. So the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. And the last voting in this cycle concerns the appointment to the Supervisory Board of Mr. Łukasz Żelewski. I hereby open the secret ballot on the resolution on the appointment of Mr. Łukasz Żelewski to the Supervisory Board.
Trwa głosowanie.
The voting is in progress.
Zamykam głosowanie.
I hereby close the vote. Please present the results.
Liczba głosów
Number of votes cast for the resolution, 97,614,406 against 41,915,433. Abstentions, 1,615,188. So the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. So here are the results on the appointments to the Supervisory Board in point 14 of the agenda. Let us move now to point 15 and 3 rounds of voting on the appointment to the Supervisory Board of people selected by the employees of the group.
Each of the draft resolutions is going to be completed with the date of starting the term, that is the 10th of June 2026. So it is tomorrow. First, let's vote on the resolution on the appointment of Przemysław Darowski. The ordinary general meeting of KGHM Polska Miedz hereby appoints, as of the 10th of June 2026, Mr. Darowski, who is a candidate of the employees of the KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. for the new 12th term. Now let's vote on this resolution. It's a secret ballot, of course, so please cast your votes now.
Trwa głosowanie.
The voting is in progress.
Zamykam głosowanie. Poproszę o wynik.
I hereby close the vote. Let's see the results. The number of votes for 103,357,399 against 10,293,119. Abstentions 27,494,511. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in secret ballot. The next resolution pertains to the appointment of Mr. Marcin Kaczanowski to the Supervisory Board elected by the employees of the KGHM Polska Miedz S.A. Group. Let's vote on the resolution. It's a secret ballot. Please cast your votes now.
Czy możemy?
Can I close the vote? Yes. I hereby close the vote. Let's see the results. Votes for 113,155,129. Votes against 495,389. And abstentions 27,494,511. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. The next resolution pertains to the appointment of Bogusław Szarek, elected by the employees of the KGHM Polska Miedz group to the supervisory board. Let's have a secret ballot on the resolution. Please cast your votes now.
Zamykam głos.
I hereby close the vote. The number of votes for 90,395,544. Votes against 22,594,711. Abstentions 27,494,511. I hereby state that the resolution has been adopted in a secret ballot. So these are the results of the appointments to the supervisory board for the 12th term of those members of the supervisory board elected by the employees of KGHM Polska Miedz. And having appointed these persons, we have completed point number 15 of the agenda. Point 16 is the closing of the ordinary general meeting. This is what I'm doing right now. Thank you very much to all the participants, and I hereby close the ordinary general meeting.